The success of Donald Trump and his award declaration that NAFTA is an anachronism is sending shivers down the spine of people in Canada as well as in Mexico. Little do they forget that ending NAFTA is not the end of the world. As a matter of fact, ending NAFTA is a good opportunity, which we are not realizing. Ending NAFTA is going to give impetus to our economy, which we never have thought would be there. As a matter of fact, NAFTA all around has been a hindrance. It has been a chain block around the the economic success of Canada as well as of United States. Mexico has benefited. Definitely it has. But the cribbing on the part of the Mandarins and Ottawa does worry me, because they are the people who lack imagination. Today you don't need this triangular agreement. The three-leg stool might be quite stable, but a triangular agreement is not stable, especially when there is no conformity and there is no symbiotic relationship between the three economies. There is between Canada and USA. There is between USA and Mexico. But Canada and Mexico do not have much in common as far as either the resourcing is concerned or otherwise. There are definite benefits in linkages, but there will be more in case there were direct relationship. Now suppose NAFTA comes to an end. The first thing that the government should do is not to react. It has an excellent resource to fall back on, which the people sitting in Parliament and on the Hill are either blissfully unaware of or they are purposely ignoring it. Before NAFTA, we had FTA with USA, Favored Trade Agreement. Since NAFTA was signed, FTA fell into disuse. And FTA is much more useful because that gives you a favored nation treatment. You have all the benefits of NAFTA without the constraints of NAFTA. So, where's the issue? Where's the problem? Why this fear psychosis is being created? The day NAFTA is buried deep, the day NAFTA is abrogated, we can easily fall back on FTA. Your question might be that FTA can also be abrogated by USA. Yes, it can be. But there is a 6-month abrogation clause in that. So USA, in case it wants to abrogate, would have to give 6 months notice. And that is a time when we should start negotiating with them. Negotiations can be both ways. We can offer them some benefits, the way Trump is offering to the companies. And do you know, till today, 18 companies have agreed, or rather volunteered, that they will not move out of USA till now. 18, including pharmaceutical giant like Baxter, who had already purchased 3 parcels of land in Mexico. So things are looking better for USA. You see, what happens is, every issue presents an opportunity. The people who are capable take use of that opportunity. And the people who are not capable miss that opportunity. As they say, an opportunity is never lost. It's somebody else who takes it up. So our people in Ottawa should wake up and instead of issuing damaging statements against Trump, instead of adopting postures like Stephen Dion said, that in case he goes against the environment, we shall have economic measures to adopt. What the hell? I was going to say something else, but okay. One four-letter is sufficient to replace the other four-letter word. You are a mouse, and you are threatening a lion. I mean, so what impudence! That statement of Stephen Dion did not go well with Donald Trump. I have on very definitive information that Trump and his team did not like that statement of Stephen Dion, especially when Joe Biden was visiting Ottawa. Anyway, coming back to NAFTA. Now the second question which arises is, what about Mexico and Canada? Now let's have the facts. NAFTA has been useful to Mexico, and trade between Mexico and Canada increased 800 times because of NAFTA. But who benefited it? Mexico, before NAFTA, was a rotten country, rotten economy, great country with rotten economy. But now, it's one of the best emerging economies. As a matter of fact, it's the 15th largest economy in the world today, thanks to NAFTA. At the same time, Canada is the 10th largest economy today, and it could have been 7th or 8th economy had there been no NAFTA. So NAFTA has been a double-edged sword. It has constrained Canada's capabilities. It has enhanced Mexico's capabilities. And now, since they are almost at par, 15th level and 10th level, it's a time to negotiate. And negotiate a separate deal with Mexico. As I've already been saying, bilateral deals are always much better than multilateral deals. You know, TPP has to go. TPP without USA would be Hamlet without the Prince of Denmark. Similarly, NAFTA has to go in one form or the other. So, for USA we have FTA, so we can have another agreement with Mexico, which will be mutually benefit to both the countries. Thirdly, as I said earlier, we can have separate deals with South Korea and with Japan. My contacts in Japan tell me that Abe would be quite happy to have a new agreement, a comprehensive agreement with Ottawa, so that the trade between the two countries can go higher and higher. Now what happens is that we need to have a different approach now. What we need is more intelligence. Our economic intelligence is extremely poor. So we should have an agreement with USA and with Mexico separately that we will be sharing economic intelligence. And that economic intelligence would be extremely useful to us. We revive FTA. As a matter of fact, if I was to take a decision, I would say, okay, I'll send an aid memoir that we are reviving FTA till the time we have a more comprehensive agreement between ourselves. You know, you are just reacting. When you just react, it can annoy the other party. Offer to renegotiate FTA. Until the FTA is renegotiated, you have 6 months time period to renegotiate. And 6 months is not a small time. if you have capable people, which you have, the only problem is you are not using these capable people. So use those capable people. Canada has excellent people in its bureaucracy, though not in its political leadership, and in academia. These two categories should be brought in. Let them draft, redraft, negotiate, renegotiate improved version of FTA in the interim period of 6 months, and that too in case USA abrogates it, in case USA gives 6 months notice. If USA does not give them the 6 months notice, continue with FTA till the time notice is given, but in the meantime start renegotiating. You see, you can always renegotiate from a position of strength, provided you have inner strength. So develop your inner strength, economic inner strength. And if you have the capability to develop it, there'll be no issue. Secondly, since the day I came to this country, since my first talk in Albany Club on the 11th of November 1999, wherein I said that it is a stupidity to put all the eggs in one basket. We had more than 87% trade with USA, and we continue to have that, with the result that they can screw us anytime they want. Diversify your trade, which Stephen Harper did a lot to do it, and the recent CETA agreement is a result of that. Thanks to Stephen Harper, we had free trade agreements with more than 50 new nations. That's quite an achievement. So that trend should have continued. And the trend towards globalization and multilateralism should have been more restrained. But now is the time when there's an upsurge against globalization. Let's read the writing on the wall. You know, our problem is, Canadian problem is, that we wait too long. And our all action is a reaction, not an initiative. NAFTA ending should be considered a boon, not a bane. It gives us an opportunity to come out of the cocoon that we have built around ourselves, of depending on the pyramid that is no longer viable and was never, as a matter of fact, viable. This was Brian Mulroney's effort at that time. It was good, possibly. But every agreement outlives its utility. And I would say, bravo to Brian Mulroney when he said, at that time it was good, and he's a person who signed that agreement. But we should not worry if it goes. He realizes that NAFTA has outlived its utility. And once an item outlives its utility, once an agreement outlives its utility, it's a dead weight around your progress. As a matter of fact, as soon as Trump declared his intention, we should have been very vocal and say, yes, that's what we want. And that's what we welcome from USA as a big brother, that they are taking the initiative to end this anachronism, which has no validity today. It might have been a very valid agreement, very useful agreement at that time. But then everything has a time span. Everything has a life. And this agreement has outlived its utility. In my talk at the Edmonton Chamber of Commerce, I said, way back in 2004, that NAFTA would be a dead weight around the neck of Canada and would sap its energies. It would kill the initiative because the businessmen had everything on the platter. They were losing their competitive edge. And since they were losing that competitive edge, they were running out of innovation. OECD put us at number 13 in innovation, while at one time it was number 2. Slowly and steadily, like a festering wound, this cancerous action in signing that agreement made our arteries and veins go out of function. We were actually in a life sport. And it's a blessing that this agreement is being consigned to the dustbin. Friends, economy is a living organism. It results in agreements which are meant for a certain period, which are pertinent only when the certain parameters are met. And the parameters change normally with the passage of time. So should the agreements. But when they become hidebound, when they become restrictive and corroding and corrupting, then it's time to bid goodbye to them. And only imaginative leaders can do it. Trump, being a businessman, could understand the need to abrogate it, to finish it off. Our leaders had no business acumen. And they were averse to listening to the sane voice. I remember in the Canadian Chamber of Commerce, once I was giving a talk, and practically the whole chamber agreed with my assessment. And one person made a statement. He was a former Minister of Crown, Perrin Betty. Perrin Betty said, Dr. Lamba, our problem is that the politicians would prefer to listen to White House than to the sane council here. And that is a tragedy of Canada. I think we should be thankful to Trump for letting us out of the slavery of NAFTA, out of the constricting bonds of NAFTA, so that we can infuse fresh air and reinforce our economic capability. This should not be seen as something dreadful. It should be seen as an advent of economic emancipation, the growth of the economy from a positive side. Let it be an opportunity for growth rather than lamenting it. Don't react, rejoice. That's